I'm Jim.
And I'm Frank.
I'm Jerry.
And this is the JFJ Conspiracy Podcast, where the shop talk is rock. Episode 129. I put it on the board behind me so we would always remember what it is.
Oh, yeah. Wow.
So we have special episode number 129. We're going to look back at Ozzy Osbourne's Bark at the Moon. You can see that. And unfortunately, I don't know, Jerry, where you listened to it at, if it was iTunes or wherever, but it seems like it was the remastered version that is available. And we'll get into that a little bit too, because got a lot to
it is cranky. It is with bonus tracks. It has like two bonus tracks.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. And I was talking to Dominic the intern the other day.
Oh yeah.
Dominic the intern.
I know. He's busier than a one-legged man in a butt kicking contest, but
yeah, he's like an intern.
Good for him.
Yes, exactly. But he suggested, why don't we do our own Mount Rushmores? And it could be, he thought we could get them all done in one episode and make one episode of it. But I thought, let's stretch this out, and because that's all we'd be talking about. We wouldn't have time for bands if we did that.
Right.
Not this episode, but episode 130. I want you guys to think about the era of the 1960s. Who is your Mount Rushmore for your favorite, most influential band, artist, performer that you have? And then we will combine our lists and discuss on episode 130 for the 60s.
So we get 4.
Take 4. Absolutely. Okay. Other than that, I don't have a lot going on. I haven't really been keeping up with the news. I don't know what's going on in the world of music. Do any of you have anything?
No, only depressing stuff. So I don't even want to talk about that.
Stay away from that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I hate to jump right into it. I don't have a mail call this week.
I didn't mail call this week either.
Yeah, I actually saving a little money. Not really, but
not on bass guitars.
No, exactly.
I know. It's out in the.
It's out there
now.
Out
in the atmosphere now.
He's got the edit button, Jaime. He's got the edit button. He can.
Yeah, but I won't. I wouldn't do that. Let's jump right into some new music, and I do want to say for you guys, I picked a band this week that I didn't know it was going to be this way. But once I heard their music, I know Jerry's going to love it, but Jim is especially going to love it because the song I picked is only 2 minutes long and it has everything you could want in it.
Perfect.
Ooh.
You're going to love it.
Yeah.
And I know what you have, Jerry. I think it's pretty fantastic also.
It's great. It's great, Frank. Thank you, Jim and Frank. The name of the band is Desert Undertones out of Tucson, Arizona. The EP this song is off of is Paniolo, released December 13th. The song is Paniolo, which I looked up. It's a Hawaiian cowboy. We got Dylan Oldham on guitar, and thanks Dylan for getting back to Shakin' Abe via end the show. We got Christopher Marshall bass, Kurt Pleiss drums, and all recording work. Desert Undertones is an instrumental surf rock band from Tucson. Their sound is rooted in classic 60s surf and further shaped by artists riding the wave of surf music resurgence after the release of Pulp Fiction. They blend with a side of spaghetti western, a touch of Latin, and their requisite dose of moody reverb-drenched tones. Desert Undertones, Paniolo.
And if Jacob, if you're watching or listening,
I'm texting him right now.
Oh, tell us what you think.
After you play it, I'm going to go off for like 10 seconds.
You got it. Here it is. Well, there's Desert Undertones with Paniolo. I can still hear the reverberation coming all the way from Arizona with that one.
It,
Juicy.
it is. It's delicious. It's twangy. And if you would have ever, gentlemen, ever said, "Hey, what about surf music with some spaghetti western?" I'd be like, "No." Until now,
Great combo,
yeah,
right?
it so fits, and I would have never thought of that on my own. Yeah, Desert Undertones, folks. Man, Paniolo song, Paniolo EP from December. So what? Barely a month old. Tucson,
Nice.
Arizona. Desert Undertones. Thank you, Dylan.
What'd you think, Jim?
I really loved this. I've got two different playlists that this is going to go on.
Very good.
I guess they're on Spotify, right? So,
all streaming. Dylan said all stream. Yeah.
The bass playing really shined in this.
What, didn't it?
Gosh, didn't it?
Loved that. Yes. And the drum, everything was just solid.
Yeah.
Solid. The drumming was so nice. And they know how to end a song.
They did. It was a proper ending. Yeah.
Proper ending.
And I'm like Jerry, I like that spaghetti western feel. Something that, again, out of a Quentin Tarantino movie or something, it could have just had that vibe to it. But then you get that surf strat thing going on and the whammy bar and the drums with the toms, and you hear that bass so crystal clear.
It's great.
The production was just second.
The production was really, really good.
Yeah.
Well engineered, well produced, well written.
Very good. Glad you guys like
the triple threat.
The triple threat. There you go.
Absolutely.
And I have to be totally honest. I originally passed this on to Jerry because I was afraid I would be tongue twisted over the name of Paniolo. And
well done.
Yeah.
Well played, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you, Frank. You know, I love the twangy.
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah. I figured you'd enjoy that.
Oh, this is great. Yeah.
Save yourself some embarrassment and play some great music along.
Why not? I'll just put it up with the next band. No problem.
Yeah.
Well, check them out on all streaming platforms.
Yes.
And, the Desert Undertones.
Paniolo.
Check it out. All right. Right now, guys, let's talk about Iron Maiden and a list of your 3 favorite songs. Now, go way back to the very beginning, 80, 81. I picked up the first Iron Maiden album at Music Plus just on the cover alone.
Absolutely.
And
God bless you.
Oh, yeah.
Because
you shared it immediately.
Because he marched it over to my house shortly after. You got to hear this.
Yeah. It was music that a style that we just hadn't heard. And it was that new wave of heavy metal that came across the pond and took us by storm. I enjoyed the first 2 albums, and after Paul Di'Anno left, was fired, let go, whatever it may be, Bruce Dickinson, no slouch, he came in and took the band to even higher heights, I would say.
He did.
Let me see. I have to get my phone because I purposely, because of this, did not pick any songs off of the first 2 albums, and Jim will explain why, what his thought process was. And I was right there with him. Same with Jerry. But let's go with, and then before they got into, I think we've mentioned this before with Iron Maiden. Some of their more recent albums are just a riff that is repeated until it kills you. It's just, we need a
10-minute long songs throughout.
Yeah. And you don't need that. You don't, it's not serving the song. I don't know what the purpose for it, if you're not
I'm glad to see you two are finally on the Jim Strong bandwagon.
I've been on the bandwagon since the get-go, and I can handle a 5, 6, 7 minute Jaime, but like Frank said, when it's 11 minutes and you're still playing that intro that took too long to begin with for the 4th time,
prog metal. Some people love it.
I can see that. You don't have to lift up the needle.
No.
Play the other, yeah, I can see that. You can just fall asleep to it.
I think every song I picked is probably at least a 6-minute song, and it wasn't by design. But
You can't help it.
I'm gonna start off with the Power Slave album and 2 Minutes Till Midnight.
Good one.
Killer riff at the beginning, and
Yeah.
it's a fast paced rocker. The second,
Thought about that one.
very good. The second one came off of Peace of Mind and Die With Your Boots On.
Oh,
Such
another
a
great
strong rocker. That's another one that just. Ugh. And then the last one, believe it or not, is off of No Prayer for the Dying, and it's Holy Smoke.
Oh,
And the reason for that is basically because of the content of what was going on at the time with all the preachers and everybody falling and everything else. And this was a fun song that Bruce Dickinson taking his shots at these guys. I like that. Another hard rocker as well. So
yeah.
they did have the tendency to do that clean little ballady stuff in the beginnings, the intros, and then break into the hard songs and then
light it up.
Yeah. But those three are just straight ahead rockers, and I that's why I picked them. Let's go with you, Jerry. What do you have for us for your three? And I'm not playing any music, unfortunately, not from these guys, because they'll strike us. Same with Ozzy later. But
since we're not picking anything from the first two albums, my first pick is from their debut, Phantom of the Opera. I can't help it.
Okay.
I just love that. I just love that.
No need to help it.
Yeah.
Roll with it.
Right.
Sweet.
And then number two is the only Maiden album I ever owned is Run to the Hills, first album with Bruce.
Yep. Great song.
That is a goosebumpy song every single time I hear it. Every single time.
Yep.
And then the third one, like Frank, off of Peace of Mind, is The Trooper.
Yeah, another good one.
I just,
Excellent choices.
So I tried going to the later stuff. I have Apple Music now, folks, out in Conspiracy Land. So I've tried going to the most recent stuff. And like Frank said, everything is 10 minutes, 11 minutes. And bless them, bless their heart. And it seems to me that if you listen to an album from 80s and listen to their current stuff, Bruce is being recorded differently, or it sounds different. It sounds,
he
I don't
has
know.
aged. Yeah.
Maybe that's what it is. I try, folks. I try to listen. It's like, where are we going?
Yeah.
So it could be just age. We're all getting there. So
yeah. All right.
But yeah, those are my three maidens.
Very good. And Jim, what about you?
Well, let me just say, when you brought that first Iron Maiden album over to my house, and I listened to that, I literally said to myself, "This is the future of heavy metal right here."
Right.
They were just so, they were just a little faster, a little harder, a little darker,
right,
than anything else at the time, right?
Right.
I mean, after them, it all kind of went into, you got into things like speed metal and death metal and all that other stuff, right? But
up until then, here in the States, it was about girls and cars.
Nothing like that. Nothing like that.
Nothing like that. No.
Brilliant. So, we were joking around before we started the show, and I said I want my first pick to be the entire first album, my second pick to be the entire second album, my third pick to be the entire third album. They said, no, you have to come up with songs. So I guess I'll go kind of chronological order here, I think. So first one, Murders in the Rue Morgue.
Yeah.
Off of Killers.
Great
But
song.
Man, it was a debate between that and Running Free, which was their first single here in the U.S.
Right. And it's a fairly simple song for Iron Maiden too.
Yes.
Compared to what they do.
Wow.
Also picked The Trooper.
Okay. Not a bad choice at all.
Yeah. Another great one. And I finished it off with Aces High.
Okay. Very good. Let's talk about Run to the Hills for just a second.
Gosh, I love that.
Number of the Beast was huge. Run to the Hills, again, MTV.
And such a goofy video.
Such a goofy, and that's exactly
It
where
was
I was
a good.
going.
Thank God I heard it so much. I didn't see the video till way later, decades. Yeah, so thank God I didn't see the video. That video,
the silent movie stuff that was sped up and everything, and that, you know, credit to them for not taking themselves so seriously. And that's what it ended up being. But those songs, Peace of Mind was just a fantastic album. Number of the Beast, holy mackerel.
Yeah.
What a fantastic album. And I remember even when Number of the Beast came out, you've got Eddie, who's, he's actually the one, you know, manipulating the devil and everything else. And
then the devil's manipulating him.
Right. Yeah.
Down below.
It's like, what is going on here? They were.
I didn't know what to think because, new singer. How's this going to work out?
Yeah.
And I never heard of Samson before.
I had heard Samson.
Yeah.
I didn't care for him.
Right. So I came in completely blind and completely deaf to it. And I was blown away because even their production and the style of song that they were doing changed.
Seemed better. Yeah.
Yeah. Everything.
Yeah, I heard him. I heard just one song off a compilation record. Mm-hmm. And I was like, not too into these guys. Didn't really care for it.
Man.
It was different than Maiden.
Right. And never heard their stuff. And excellent fit. And then we know he left for a while, and Blaze Bailey, I think his name is, came in, and I've got one or two CDs I think he did with them. Very forgettable. It's just that was one of those things where the singer didn't outdo the last one. So it was a letdown.
Bruce was really the voice of Iron Maiden, man.
Absolutely. I agree with that.
I think even Paul Di'Anno said when he heard that record, he was like,
they got it. They nailed it.
They got it. That's it. Right. Like,
and you know what? I think I just read not too long ago, Paul Di'Anno's had a lot of health issues. He's basically wheelchair bound.
I heard he wasn't doing it.
But I think Steve Harris has been footing his bills on his medical stuff. So hats off to that.
Yeah, I don't know hats off to that. That's fantastic.
Yeah. So that's very cool. So, all right, Jerry, hold on to your hat because you've got the next pick for top 3 and classic album. So keep that in mind. I do,
and I'm ready.
All right, now, guys, what I have for you is 2 minutes of just sweet stuff. You're gonna love it. The band is called the Nite Sobs. They're a skinny tie wearing power pop combo out of Austin, Texas. Jeff Gamble sings and writes, plays guitars, plays bass. Ralphie Trench pounds the skins and provides backing vocals. You throw in Mark Reed in there and a host of others, and they finished up this album called Fade Out. What a fantastic album. It just came out, I think, last month. The song I'm going to play for you is called Like You Do, and it clocks in, like I said, at 2 minutes, like most of their songs on their album. Fade Out was mixed and engineered by Evan Kleinicki at 5 Street Studios and Seize the Means Productions, and it was mastered by Will Killingsworth at Dead Air. And I actually went back and bought both of their albums. Their first album came out in 2020, I believe, but I bought them both on LP.
Yeah, do the song.
Yeah, just can't wait to get them on vinyl. But right now, here is Nite Sobs, and the song is Like You Do.
There's no one who can do it like you do, and you know that is true, and that's why I love you. And you're aware I've broken my fair share of hearts and you don't care, 'cause what we have is rare. When you dance, got me feeling really nutty in your hands. I'm just so much silly buddy, Peter Pan, my guitar to Lily buddy, never had a girl like you. Alright.
How about Nite Sobs with Like You Do? Jim, right off the top, what do you think?
You weren't wrong.
Yeah.
Like, had everything a 2
No,
minute
he
song
was
should
not.
have, right?
Did
Beautiful.
that have everything? Everything?
Yeah, it was just
Everything.
a fun song.
Yeah.
Again, wonderful bass playing.
Oh, yes.
But, the first time I'm a bass player, so
Yeah.
The whole album.
and what a great name, Nite Sobs.
Nite Sobs. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, as soon as you said skinny tie wearing power pop, I was like, oh well, I'm already in love.
Yeah.
Yeah, same here. Yeah.
That was fun. It was fun
was
little
great.
tune.
I wasn't sure what to think, and I got the first album I listened to. I liked every song. This was the newer one, so I wrote them, and I'd forgot. It'd been so long. I lost the email, so he said, "Sure, you can play that song." I don't even know if that was the song that I asked him that I was going to play. Be honest with you, because they're all 2 minutes and change.
Nothing wrong with
minute
that.
50. Oh, fantastic!
That was just pure. That was bliss.
There you go. Again, Jerry, you hear the bass, you hear the backing
Backing
vocals.
vocals, good guitar, lead vocals.
I knew Jerry was gonna like that backing vocal.
I love
Yeah.
that. Oh yeah, I like that. I like that.
Yeah.
It just wow. I mean, it's like I almost wanted to do another minute.
Yeah. There you
You
go.
know, it's like
No, what are you talking about?
Just on
well,
to the
then
next song.
that would have taken him to 3. I mean, that's what
Yeah,
I'm
I
saying.
know, but you're talking madness. Like
Adding stuff.
they finished.
Yeah.
They know how
Yeah,
to finish
perfect.
the song, huh? Yeah.
Nite Sobs are on Facebook.
That was
I've already
beautiful.
liked them.
That was beautiful.
Yeah.
They're on Apple. I just looked them up.
Oh yeah.
Can't
You
wait.
can get
Can't
their
wait
music.
to jam that. Yeah.
Check out the whole album. You will not be disappointed. They have, like I say, great harmonies throughout and
Man.
nice,
Man.
cool vocals. And again, that skinny tie moniker fits just
No.
right because I'm glad you guys like that.
That was fantastic. That was fantastic.
Right now, why don't we get right to your song, Jim, and then we'll talk about Bark at the Moon.
Oh, okay. Well, I've got a story to tell.
All right, it's story time.
So how I found this band, Becoming Bristol. So I'm scrolling through Instagram as I do from time to time, and I'm looking at the reels on there. And this guy Tyler Mays, he besides being the bass player in this band, he's also an engineer producer for like other bands and stuff. And so he had posted up a video of him helping out another band in the studio, and they didn't have a bass player, so the guitar player was doing the bass parts. And if you've ever been in the studio, well, so Tyler is sitting directly across from the guy who's playing bass,
Mhm.
and in order to stop any extra noise, Tyler's putting his hand out and muting the E string on the bass, like while he's playing. And so I guess the band had posted that up, and they got a bunch of negative comments about, well, you guys are cheating. And so so he was posting up the video about all these people making these comments, and I just left a comment that basically saying, like, you do all kinds of things in the studio to get a particular sound.
Right.
And a lot of what you do in the studio has zero to do with playing live.
Right.
And
he's not wrong.
right.
No, you're
So,
not. No.
Well, and there were a few people who were like answering and saying this, well, I don't know if you had reverb to vocals. Is that cheating?
Exactly.
Right. Or a little echo, or,
Mhm.
you know, they post up a video about, here's a guy playing the drums, and they had a guy who was like grabbing the cymbals, right, to
Stop
the
ringing.
decay on the cymbals or
Muffle
whatever.
it. Yeah. Muffle it. Yeah.
Right. So if you've never been in a recording studio, you don't
Right.
have any idea of kind of what really happens that really is disconnected from, you know, playing live music in a lot of
Right.
instances. Anyway, so I'd kind of left that, and he had kind of wrote back and said, like, hey, I really appreciated your comment, you know.
Yeah.
And but in the meantime, I had gone back and looked at his profile, and he plays in this band called Becoming Bristol. And so I just kind of followed the links and checked them out. And I really liked them. I thought they were great. So Becoming Bristol is a 4-piece alternative rock pop band from Seattle, Washington, with influence spanning a broad array of music genres. And I think they kind of wear their influences on their sleeve. I think when you hear them, you'll say like, "Oh, I can see exactly where they're coming from." Inspired by the legend of a traveler named Bristol, who caused entire towns to stir with kindness and generosity, Becoming Bristol looks to unite fans with their music and live show experience. And the members of the band are Britt Espinosa, who's the lead vocals and guitar, Manny Gonder, spelled like rounder, but Gounder. I'm not sure how you pronounce that. Sorry, Manny.
All right.
Lead guitar, background vocals, Tyler Mays on bass guitar and vocals, and Jack Espinosa, brother of the lead vocalist, on drums and background vocals. And the song we're going to listen to is Staring into the Sun. So drop the needle in the groove, Frank.
Becoming Bristol. I was so into the song, I forgot the name of the band there for a minute. Reminded me, do you remember when there was MTV and there was VH1?
Yep.
Yep.
This is everything good that was on VH1.
You ain't kidding.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because they were playing
Yep.
that pop
punk.
Yeah.
Kind of.
Yep. Yep.
Better
I
than
like
Green Day.
Much better than Green Day. I didn't even look at that as punk because it had such textures, so many different elements going on there. Like Jerry was talking about those backing vocals. The
Oh yeah. That's
You
good
can't fault
stuff.
the production. I mean, it's just
No.
Good stuff. I'm curious because I am not well versed on a lot of the 80s and 90s pop synth bands and a lot of that. I'm curious who they name as their uh
That would be a
influences.
good one.
Jerry,
Yeah.
what was your overall thoughts?
I absolutely love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. Love it. It reminded me of some more modern, or shouldn't say more modern, but I can't think of the things that reminds me of. So folks getting old out in conspiracy land. It's like, I know that. I know that. That sounds like yeah. Sounds like Becoming Bristol.
I mean, Bristol. that perfect.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow. Now I did listen to the other tune that you sent that came along with it. Is it in line with what this was?
yes.
Okay.
I would say they have a sound.
Okay. Yeah, they're putting a lot into the production. That's for sure. There's a lot going on there. I really, I like trying to figure out what's that has so much going on that I'd have to listen to it over and over and over just to decipher everything that's happening because it just seems
That's
like a
just
very
good
busy
stuff.
song.
Yeah, you listen and you hear that guitar just playing that like little lick.
That little lick.
It kind of runs through the back, right? And
Ding-a-ling, ding-a-ling.
if you're not listening for it, you don't hear it, but it's
You hear it if you're listening.
a lot of layers.
Yes. And
That's
where are they
nice.
out of?
Seattle.
Okay, the Washington band. All right.
The PNW,
Okay.
Pacific Northwest.
There you go.
Not the Great White North, but they're
Just
Oh,
below.
take off, eh?
almost
Take
up
off.
there.
Yeah.
You'll be looking for me on another label, eh?
But I thought it was like just great songcraft, just
Yes.
well produced, well played.
That was nice. That
Great
was beautiful.
musicianship. Yeah.
That was.
And for the record,
Radio ready.
yes, I don't
Yeah.
care what a band does or what a bunch of artists do in
No.
the studio to make the song sound like that. Hell,
I
they
don't
can
care
hold
either.
hands and sing Kumbaya for all I care. If it comes
That's
out
it.
like that,
If it comes out like that, right?
who
And
cares?
like Jaime says, radio ready. That's ready to go on the radio now.
There you go.
Now.
Good job. Good
Yeah.
job.
And
Nice.
very different than what I normally bring. So
Well, yeah, there's testosterone.
Well, it
in the
wasn't
vocals.
crazy
Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wasn't crazy different. And the tune was 3 minutes and change. So
That was a good one.
Yeah.
Ah,
you didn't really fall off the bike, Jaime.
thanks. I
Well,
was
and-
shooting for, I don't know.
well,
They
you
knew
don't,
how to end a song too.
yes. Well, that's one thing we can't say. You don't bring duds. That's for sure.
No, Jaime never
thanks.
has.
You
No,
do
yeah.
usually bring the
Jaime's
fire. You usually have us in awe.
It brings the fresh 3 minute in
Yeah.
and out, end the song. How's your
I
mother
know,
and
but you
father
guys
doing?
have pegged
Yeah.
me as the 3-minute girl pop guy. So
Well,
Oh, you know, if the shoe, if the bass fits,
if
play
the
it.
bass fits, you got to
Yes.
wear it. Yeah, that's fair.
hey, I meant to mention like right off the top because I said we didn't have anything to talk about. I don't know if our listeners know or not, but we are on Facebook, and I haven't been real active on there lately.
Yeah, me
But
either.
we need to get on there and post some more
Nor
stuff,
I.
maybe some
You're right.
or something.
Yeah.
But I have a question, and it's for our listeners, and it's for you too. How are we doing with the theme music at the beginning and the end of our show? Are we due to have a new tune, or should we just keep it the one that we have? What do you guys think? And listeners, you ready for a Shake and Abe to break out another 30-second ditty or what?
Yep.
Oh, that's
Every time I hear the intro, I go, he's doing the drums backwards. That should be snare there. That should be snare. Why is that bass? Why is that bass? That should be snare.
very good.
It throws me off every time. And we're at episode 129. I hear it and I go,
Yep.
I try to, and I do that fall off thing where,
Uh-oh. There you go. Well, let's leave it up to the listeners. If they think
Yeah.
it's time for a new song, let's do something new, something different.
I'm
Yeah.
down for a new song.
hit
Okay.
us up. Yeah.
And the only reason I ask is I went through my files on Pro Tools the other day, and I've got about 30 songs that are 2 minutes and change that don't have any lyrics, and some of them might just be just right for a new theme song.
Call up Shake and Abe. Tell him to drop one.
We'll see what happens. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on to the classic album, Ozzy Osbourne, Bark of the Moon. Man, the problem right off the top is
the singer.
Besides the singer, the problem that I found with all the files that were available were the remixed versions.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
You know,
well, I didn't expect it to be different.
Oh yeah, it's so different, and it ruined my memory because I have nothing but fond memories of this album. And I do have the original CD, and it is stripped down compared to what is out there now.
Of course.
And Jim and I were talking how it's keyboard heavy and it's in your face more than it should be. And the first album after Randy Rhoads was killed in a plane crash. This album, if you listen to the way Ozzy's singing, that style of presentation, and maybe even the way it's produced, overproduced, or processed, or what, it's still the same today. Those first two albums, he still had that Sabbath grit to it, and then it kind of went sideways. No fault to the band.
Way more polished.
Yeah.
But then Ozzy's debut was way more polished to me than, Sabbath. I mean,
the Blizzard of Oz album came out to me, and it was spacious.
Junior year, folks, on Conspiracy Land. What a mind blower!
Yeah, it was mind blowing, and I think for me that album was raw. The guitar sounded
Lee Kerslake. Yeah. Oh
just
man, that was
awesome. Then we get to 1984 and Bark of the Moon, or 1983, excuse me.
83. Yeah.
And it's just production.
Yeah.
And Jakey Lee is a fantastic guitar player. No fault to him on what happened with the production. And I was reading today, and he's claiming him and Bob Daisley wrote the majority of the lyrics on that whole album, and Ozzy only gave him credit on 2 or 3.
He held his own. Jakey Lee held his own, folks.
Yeah.
Ozzy didn't write lyrics.
No.
He never wrote lyrics in Sabbath.
He doesn't play an instrument. All Ozzy ever did, and you listen to Geezer Butler, he came up with a melody line for the song, for the singing, and usually he copied whatever the guitar player was doing. That was his style, and that's why Ronnie James Dio, I think, was a little pissed off when people would compare them, because he would say, "I'm a singer."
Yeah.
He's not singing.
Yeah.
I'm a singer.
Yeah.
Well, I remember Geezer talking about how much he loved the fact that Ronnie was in the band because he didn't have to write the lyrics.
He didn't have to write them anymore. Yeah.
He didn't enjoy doing it.
Right. This album came out November 18th, 1983, 39 minutes long. Originally
good length.
Perfect length. Like I say, the reissues has 2 other songs that one of the B-sides and Spiders.
Yeah.
I like those on the 45. Didn't care for them on this. Again, I don't know. 2 singles, Bark of the Moon and So Tired was one of the first ballads that we heard Ozzy do from the solo time. I mean, he did that one with the first Blizzard of Oz album. He had a ballad on there.
Goodbye to Romance.
Goodbye to Romance.
Yeah.
And he had Changes, with Black Sabbath.
From Sabbath.
But
yeah. That was the one I thought of first.
Yeah. But this one was released as a single. And it did fairly well on the charts for Ozzy, but 3 times platinum in the United States, only sold 60,000 copies in the UK. So, Ozzy's bread and butter was here in the States.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
Well, the thing you sent to me, the review today,
right? To the remix,
he calls it, Ozzy's beginning of pop metal.
Yes. And that's exactly what it was. He changed his whole style, and it became radio friendly pop metal. And I mean, he obviously Sharon's living large. She don't care. So, I
Bark at the
remember
Moon rocks.
the album
It
itself is pretty
does.
good.
It,
Yeah.
yeah.
Like I said,
May I interject for a moment, Frank?
help yourself.
You are exactly right. Where you go from this Randy Rhoads vicious slashing to, by the time we got here, and Jake E. Lee is no slouch, folks on Conspiracy Land, no slouch. But I noticed it also, Frank, on this album, and you too, Jim, where they throw some slashing, vicious gun work in with this keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And I got my notes here. When we get into it, I'll read them, or what I put. But yeah, it's a like Jaime says, goodbye to romance, and there's a couple on here, ballady, keyboardy. But yeah, sorry to interrupt. I just thought Jake E. Lee and there's no slouch in keyboards, and I guess when we look back on it, guys, we're 20 when it comes out. Yeah. So maybe that was the genre, to use your term, is that that's where it was headed, folks, on Conspiracy Land. You had the metal band, you had the power ballad, you had the keyboard influence. So I like this album, even though it's.
I think if you just heard the original version, it's so much better. The keyboards are farther back in the mix. Jake E. Lee's guitar is more prominent. And I say, this is where I really noticed. As it should be. This is when I started to really notice Ozzy's voice was being processed. It wasn't just dry singing, yelling, whatever. It was.
There was something to it. Yeah.
They were adding, and it wasn't doubled. It was more synthesized. And maybe that was the beginning, way before auto-tune and all that.
Auto-tune, yeah. Frank, well done.
Yeah. This one, and then the one after Ultimate Sin, was just saturated with it. But gosh, I had this, I think I've told you 1,000 times before. I had this cassette in my Camaro, straight from Music Plus, in the car, and I played it for 3 months straight. Because it had one of those auto reverse, play the opposite side. Never stopped.
No eject.
I love this album so much when it first came out.
Yeah.
And then last week or week before, when I listened to it, I messaged you guys, hey, I'm sorry, I'm ready to take a beating over this.
No, you're not. No, you're not, Frank. In my opinion, no, you're not.
But I appreciate that.
Might be slight thinner.
Yeah.
Slightly.
I think the remix Frank, is all it is that really hurt it for me, because I thought the songs were fairly strong. Just like we were talking about with Iron Maiden, starting off with the clean guitars and the slow intros.
Yeah.
This album is full of that with keyboards. Ozzy it gave those guys so much leeway to do this keyboard beginnings, and the monks in the beginning of
that one. Yeah.
So unnecessary in the big picture.
Like, what you're freaking Ozzy Osbourne. What are you doing?
And
it was good though.
I was a huge fan of Ozzy's for the longest time, and I remember watching. He had a TV show for a bit, and I remember at one of his tours, Sharon had bubbles and balloons at the encore, and he went off on her. He says, "I'm the Prince of effing Darkness. What's with the balloons and the bubbles? You're killing." Yeah. But he had just become this sappy, older, aging rock star that was going along, getting a paycheck at that point. I don't think his heart was in it anymore. He was doing it to, just living large off the.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I saw this tour. I think me and Greg went. We saw it at Long Beach Sports Arena. I think Rat
Greg L
opened up, if I'm not mistaken. And fantastic show. Fantastic show. Favorites track? Oh boy. It's for me, it's probably going to be Rock and Roll Rebel. It's hard to say. I like the guitar riffs that Jakey Lee starts off a lot of these songs with. And like I say, probably Center of Eternity might be my least favorite song, only because of those monks. Man, I don't need that. I just don't need that.
Yeah.
So,
And they spell center wrong.
oh yeah, he's always done that English bit, right?
Yeah.
He's been living in the States forever.
Yeah, exactly.
Making his bones in the States forever. Spell it right, Ozzy. It's ER. Okay. It's not RE.
All right, Jerry, go ahead and talk a little bit more. Tell us a little bit more about how you feel about this album. I'm glad you liked it. And tell us your favorite track when you get to it.
Yeah, Frank, when you mentioned last show that you might have perhaps made a mistake no, you didn't. I will concur with you, Frank, that it might be slightly thinner than the first two with Randy Rhoads. But when you hear Bark at the Moon intro right out of the gate,
yeah,
just even saying that now, folks, on Conspiracy, I'm goosebumping up. That is just vicious guitar, and Ozzy coming in. So yeah, my favorite is Bark at the Moon right off the bat.
All right.
And then I have my little notes here, and then like the one you said, Center of Eternity, I have fast singing.
Yeah.
So it's like Ozzy doing which he never does.
He can't even talk.
He does not sing fast. He sings slow.
Right.
So, but Bark at the Moon. And of course, by that time, folks, on Conspiracy Land, MTV is viral. So you got that great video to go with it.
Right.
But so Bark at the Moon, my favorite. I don't think there's any duds on here, folks. On the re-listen, Frank, and this is a great pick because it made me think: is this about the first time I've heard like a Jakey Lee shred with like an organ or a keyboard, something with it?
Yeah.
At some dual.
Right.
And it may be, I don't know, maybe something I heard first, but I know at this point in time, I'm 19, 20. I'm out of California. I'm gone.
Right.
I'm doing my grown-up stuff, or attempting to. Still am. But I remember hearing this and seeing the video going, oh, wow. Ozzy still has it. So,
good.
Yeah, Frank. Not a bad pick at all.
All right.
I don't think.
Well, Jim, what about you? Did you have fond memories at all? You weren't a big Ozzy fan, though, were you?
I'm not a big Ozzy fan, but
Right.
the brilliant thing Ozzy has always done is he surrounded himself with great musicians.
True.
Right. He always had good bands behind him. Right.
Yes.
I love the first two solo records because I'm a huge Randy Rhoads fan.
Right.
Yeah.
And getting Bob Daisley back to play bass on this record was a stellar move.
Right.
When you listen to the backing, I mean, Don, it's too keyboard heavy for me, and it's not to me what Ozzy Osbourne should be about, right?
Yeah.
Don Airy's a great keyboard player, man. I loved him in Rainbow. He's was already touring with Ozzy anyway. He was a touring keyboard player, right? I mean, you cannot fault the musicianship on this record at all.
Yeah.
What really hurt it for me is it's a little too keyboard heavy, and the mix was just terrible.
Yeah.
I hated the mix. So, but I didn't realize this mix was different than the original, and I didn't realize how different everything sounded. Like, which is why you came back and said like, wow, this really didn't age well. It's not good.
Yeah, it's not how I remember.
So now it makes me want to go back and hear the original.
Same here.
The original Bark. It's got a lot of shiny moments in it. For me, Ozzy's always been about the great guitarist in his band. There's plenty of places where Jake shines on this record, even on the keyboard heavy songs. He's got some shred in there.
Yes.
Just showing what a great player he is.
Slow down. I got written slow down. Guitar, keyboard.
Who came in after Jake? Was that Zach?
Zach Wild after that.
Was there anybody in between? No, right?
Not for any long.
Zach was that early?
Yeah, because they did Ultimate Sin with Jake.
That was about 90 something.
And then what was the one after that?
I don't remember.
It's one with
now.
No More Tears on it. Is that the name of the
Name
album?
of the album, No More Tears. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
love
No,
that. I love
that had
that
Zach Wilde on it, right?
Yeah.
So
I beg you to go back and try to find the original recordings
That would be good.
because
yeah.
it is completely different to me. I just, like I said, when I listened to it, I was disappointed in the production of it, and I didn't remember it being that keyboard heavy in your face. And it made sense after we read that article about the remastering of it.
Yeah, remastering, 2015, I think, or something. No,
somewhere, and it just
no.
didn't do it a good service at all. I don't think so.
well, I think he also mentioned that, like, and I'm not sure when he wrote that article, sometime after 2002, but he said like Ozzy doesn't touch any of this material other than sometimes playing the title track.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
like
for
I said,
good reason, I think.
On a Black Sabbath note,
Salute.
just to change
Gracias.
gears just a little bit. I sometime this year, I guess in the summer, Tony Iommi finally got the rights back to the Tony Martin era Black Sabbath albums,
Oh,
and they're either going to be re-released and remastered as a whole, or a box set as like a best of situation. I haven't read exactly what the plans are. There's 5 good albums, not necessarily great, because it's Tony Martin, and it's, when you listen, it's funny how they made 4 Black Sabbath albums with Tony Martin, and then one with Ronnie James Dio, who came back in Dehumanizer,
yeah.
and then they did another one with Tony Martin after that, and the guitar, and I think it's Tony Iommi who's doing the production. All those albums just are weak sounding. The guitars are weak sounding, everything. And then the Dehumanizer album is right in your face and great guitars and vocals and the whole bit. And then it goes right back to the slack production.
Wow. No, that's interesting.
Yeah. But if they do come out and they're remastered and they're done correctly, I would suggest checking them out, because you get the full scope of what Black Sabbath was. And they had several singers between Glenn Hughes and Ian Gillan for
Ian
an
Gillan.
album.
Yeah.
Love that.
I do
album.
love that. Yes.
Yeah.
I do like that one.
But anyways, that is my little news on Black Sabbath that I read that I think is,
Well, that's good news.
for me it is, because I have all their stuff. All right. Next episode, Jerry, you are up with the 3 songs of any band of your choice and a classic album. Let's start with a classic album. What are we going to be revisiting? A Different Kind of Truth.
Ooh.
All right.
Guys, gentlemen, on the Conspiracy Show, my friends from ancient times, I have been doing this album every night for 3 weeks straight. And I'll get more in depth on the next show. But yeah, hit me, Frank. Hit me.
I just have one question for you.
Yes, sir.
And I love the album.
The
only song that I wish was done differently was Stay Frosty, because Dave's talking too damn fast for me.
Well, that's his thing. Talking during the song.
Just too fast. That's
his thing.
It just doesn't match the song. That's my only gig.
We'll do it, Frank, in the next show. I can't, gentlemen. Last 3 weeks on my little Bluetooth. I'm trying to withhold because I want to go.
Do you have that?
Wait for the show,
Jim? Do you have that?
I have a digital copy.
Okay, it's not available on iTunes.
But if I can't find it, I'll have you send it to me.
Okay.
No, it's not on iTunes, Frank. Thank God I had already purchased it.
Yeah,
I had it in my library.
I bought the CD.
It's not on iTunes, and I have Apple Music. Where the hell is it?
Dave didn't release it. He won't release it.
Oh, you, Dave.
Yeah. So okay, I'm
love it.
Yeah, that's going to be a fun one.
Best of Both Worlds is not on iTunes either. Whoever, I don't know if that's Sammy or Dave or whoever.
That's
the one where they did, like, in 2000, 2001, they did like 2 new tunes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? All right. How
A
about
different kind of truth. Yeah.
a 3 top songs of a band?
Guys, it's so apropos that Frank says we're going to change up and do a Mount Rushmore after the next show.
Okay.
I want your gentlemen's opinions of your top 3 George Harrison songs.
Oh, very good.
Not Beatles, not
Okay.
Traveling Wilburys.
George Harrison solo.
Top three George Harrison solo
Awesome.
songs.
Very good.
Yeah. That
Well,
hit me about
it won't
once.
be My Sweet Lord because that's not a George Harrison song.
No, that's by the Chiffons. He's so fine.
That's funny.
He got sued for unconscious plagiarism or
Right.
subconscious plagiarism. Had to pay $500,000 and change, and that's why he stayed out of the scene for 5 years.
Yeah. What a good
And
song.
make anybody bitter.
Yep.
Yeah.
Do
You
you
ain't kidding. I mean, I never made any connection till I heard about the court and the this and the that. It's like, oh man, that's exactly like it. What are you doing, Jorge? Yeah.
and you know what? I love his song Not Guilty. And I think it's off of 33 and a third. And he wrote us like a rebuttal to a lot of the court
Yeah.
proceedings and
So-
whatnot. And
All I remember, gentlemen, is the quote subconscious
right. Plagiarism.
plagiarism.
Yeah.
He didn't mean to do it, but could you give us like $600,000 or $700,000?
Right. And we've talked about there,
Ooh.
it's very similar and it is what it is.
I don't think it's exact, but whatever.
Right. When we talk, there's 12 notes and what are you going to do?
What are you going to do with them?
Yeah.
While you stepped away during the break, Jerry, I was telling Jim that Green Day has a song out right now off their new album that sounds just like a Pink tune. And I don't have the name of it here, but I'm not going to sing it on the air, but it's just so similar that I was telling Jim, I'm sure Billy Joe Armstrong has kids of the age that like Pink, and that's where he's heard this riff because it is identical. It's just amazing. But that's music. This is happening all the time. What are you going to do?
What's the other one that just came up? It was by the shoot. I can't get it. It was Gene Genie, same year, and it came out, and it was a song by The Sweet, where they go,
Yeah, Blockbuster. It's the
thank you,
exact same
Blockbuster.
riff.
I was like broadcaster. I couldn't get it, Jaime.
Right.
But listen to that, folks, on Conspiracy Land. Gene Genie and then Blockbuster.
And you got to figure.
Yeah, and Annie McCoy talks about that. Like they were both in studios across town recording those songs at the exact same time. It's the exact same riff. I think he says the exact same key.
It's crazy.
Thank you, Jaime, for that. I was like broadcaster, yeah.
I was again. There's almost no way to not write a song.
Heard it before.
Be completely original.
Yeah.
Because especially this far along in the scene.
Oh yeah, we're
nothing new can be written.
You got classic. Yeah.
If you're doing a guitar-based song and you're doing a riff or a chord structure or whatever, almost everything is you've heard it before somewhere.
Yeah.
In some way.
Yeah. And I think I've told you before that I've done that. I've gotten up in the morning, I got an idea. I go in, I fire up the computer, I throw on the guitar, and I'm playing off. Oh yeah, that's Firehouse, and you just you realize this great tune that you're playing you've heard it 100 times before.
That's why it's so great.
Yeah,
that's right.
So memorable.
Yes,
that's right.
Yeah. So, no, it's gonna happen. So, all right, guys. We're on Facebook. We're on Instagram. We've got to get more involved with that.
Email us, jfjshow@gmail.com. Yeah.
Got to hit that up. Jerry, do you have anything you want to talk about before we get out of here?
I do, Jim and Frank. It's out there, folks, on Conspiracy Land. We got Desert Undertones, Becoming Bristol, the Nite Sobs. We're going to hit up Van Halen's last studio album next show. Keep rocking, folks. We really appreciate your input. Email us, jfjshow@gmail.com, and tell us what's up. What's up? Tell us. And we appreciate you very much. Thank you for everything. And keep rocking.
Very good. Well, you know, I don't have anything.
Except
Stay fresh.
I just remember. I finally
There it
remembered
is.
how
Jim,
dang.
take it away. What do you got?
Well, if you made it this far, smash that like button, subscribe, ring that notification bell. We'll slide into your DMs every 2 weeks or so, more or less.
Hey, and if you're watching this show, real quickly, what's your Mount Rushmore for 1960 generation, the 60s?
I
That
like that, Frank.
10-year span,
Mm.
the birth of rock and roll as we know it, not the 50s. That's Elvis.
Huh.
The 60s, the electric age,
That's when it started.
right?
Now,
I think I got my 4 already.
Probably do.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
And you know what's interesting about that is some of these bands were good in the 60s, but they were great in the 70s.
Yeah.
So
Ooh, Frank
It's
dropping a little bait.
it's okay. It's okay if it's a band that or an artist who really did something for you, but may have made bigger splash somewhere else in a different decade. Give it a thought. And you listeners, let us know. What's your Mount Rushmore of the 60s?
Yeah.
Right. For me not saying I didn't have anything else to say, I sure said a lot. So
You said a lot.
Yeah.
Jim?
Well,
That's
nothing,
okay.
Nothing's changed. Yeah.
Nothing's
Nothing.
changed.
Right? I mean, it's like,
same old story.
what?
Yeah.
Something new just happened.
Different day. Yep.
Yeah.
Take us on home.
Shop is closed.
Say,
How much time are they spending in India? That's what I want to know.
I don't know. I have to go look at that. That's through the Buzzsprout one.
I was so blown away by that there's
Yeah.
people like kind of all over the
I
world.
forgot
People
about
like,
that. I forgot about that.
I think we had
Yeah.
some in Germany or something like that.
Germany. Yeah, that's Buzzsprout. That's on just the audio. The podcast.
Right.
I'll have to
I
go back
forgot
and-
about the India high, man.
That's great.
Yeah, man. Are we rocking in New Delhi?
Yeah, I'll take it.
I couldn't even imagine that.
Yeah.
Like,